So today has been quite mad, if I'm honest, because I've been to Paris and back. So let me explain why. Last night we headed to Heathrow to stay at a hotel, and then at 6 AM this morning we checked in for a flight to Paris, to Charles de Gaulle Airport. And then from Paris we got a coach to a great big conference centre, a huge great place just outside of Paris, not that far away from the airport. And inside it was the international reveal of the new 3008. So there were about 1,000 journalists from all across the world, all sorts of different nations. There were people from Spain, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium. There was a group of us from the UK, just all over the place. They'd all come for this international reveal of the new 3008. So first of all we sat down, then a few people from Peugeot started to talk about how important this new model was and a bit more about what we were going to see, because up until that point we'd been kept in the dark about what was actually going to happen. They said it was going to be a 3008 reveal, but other than that they really didn't say very much, although one of the guys on the PR team did say to us it's going to be an interesting surprise, but I'll explain more about that in a minute. After the top bods had finished talking, we then got to see the 3008 for the first time. So some screens came up and everyone was on their feet trying to get a photo or a bit of video of this car coming out. They all parked up and then they started to talk more about the car. It was mad because everyone wanted to be first to Twitter, first to Instagram, first to Facebook, first to YouTube, everything. So people were just on their phones, standing up, taking pictures. It was a media frenzy. If you ever want to know what a scrum in rugby feels like, you should go to a press event with journalists when they're like super keen like they were today. One of the main things they wanted to talk to us about was this new generation of iCockpit. So iCockpit is the term that Peugeot uses to describe the cabin. The 3008 is the first chance we've had to have a proper look at their new generation of iCockpit. So for this I'm going to quote Peugeot on this. This is a direct quote. "All the senses are immediately aroused." That's what they say, but basically what they mean is everything you touch will feel nicer. So there'll be less road noise, there'll be less kind of odd little creaks perhaps than there were before. Everything you can see will be nicer. Everything will be easier to reach. It's just supposed to be, you know, the Mark II of this interior. It's supposed to be so much better and friendlier and nicer and higher quality. Peugeot also talked a lot about connectivity. So what they've done is they've given you a new system that mirrors your phone to the sat-nav. I know that's nothing new now, but the fact that they're doing it is certainly good news. They've also given you a 3D sat-nav, which looks pretty cool. It's supposed to make seeing the sat-nav actually easier. And a company called Focal has done a new sound system. So it's a 10-speaker surround sound system that's supposed to be better than anything that's gone to Peugeot before. Safety was something else they talked about today. So safety systems, I suppose we get news about new safety systems every time a new car comes out, but in reality they are actually very important. When a customer buys a car, they want to know how safe it is. So Peugeot was talking about how they've got a system that will stop them in traffic if you're about to hit someone from behind. They've got systems that will keep an eye on how close you are to the car in front if you're on the motorway, and other systems that can keep an eye and basically track how many mistakes you're making. So if you start to drift out of line a few times over the course of a certain period, the car will know that and it will immediately come up with a warning saying you're getting tired, you should pull over. Design, that's something they really picked up on today. They've smashed it basically. If you go and have a look at one of the old 3008s right now, have a look at a picture and then come back and look at this new one, yeah, you'll be able to see quite a difference. This is now a car you would want to own. This is a car you wouldn't mind being seen in. I think that they've done a really good job. The front, Peugeot has kept some of the soft lines, but it looks more aggressive and it looks more muscular. From the profile, it looks a lot sharper. It looks really good. And the back, the rear lights are interesting too, because they're probably one of the biggest design changes from the other Peugeots that are on sale at the moment. The brand manager for this car as well, she said how they've looked across the whole car and they've tried to strip weight out whenever they can. They're not going to go quite to the extent that someone like Ferrari or McLaren or Lamborghini might go to, but they've looked at every little detail, and where they can, they've tried to say, okay, let's make that a bit lighter. Like for like, they've shaved about 100 kilos off of this new car compared to the old car. That's quite a big saving. Engines. So there are 5 diesels available. There are 3 1.6 litres and 2 2 litres. And then petrol, there are 3 1.2 litres and there's one 1.6 litre. So we'll see the car again in September at the Paris Motor Show, and this car will go on sale in January 2017. So we're going to drive it hopefully in November. I just think the car looks really, really good, and I think it's another step in the right direction for Peugeot. The final thing that they talked about was this magical surprise that was mentioned to me, and I really wasn't expecting it. Basically what it was is something called an e-kick, and it's an electric scooter. I don't quite know how I feel about travelling all the way to Paris and back to have a look at an electric scooter. I don't know what kind of turn my life has taken for that to happen, but actually it was quite an interesting thing. Basically, the e-kick is a scooter that you have in the back of your 3008 and it charges as you drive along. So when you get to a car park or you can't go any further in your car, the idea is you unplug this scooter, you get on it and you go the rest of the journey. So you can go through towns, cities, whatever you might need to. I know it's a scooter and I know I'm about cars, so I'm not going to talk about it for very long, but it just feels really, really nice, and like the handles are really nice, and it's quite a clever idea. And this will actually go on sale. This is a real product that will go on sale with the car. It's not some random concept thing that they've just gone, oh, look at this great little scooter thing we're never going to build. This is actually going to come out. One last thing, it might sound glamorous going to Paris for 7 hours and flying to a different country, fly in, fly out, to go and have a look at a car, but in reality, it wasn't that glamorous. I'm not going to complain, because that would be silly, because the whole point of me bringing you along for this was to show you what a cool experience this has been, what a really fun day it's been. It's been tiring, but as a thing to do, it's quite exciting. But if you had an image of me being in Paris, when I say Paris, it isn't quite Paris the way you imagine it. It's an industrial estate by an airport. It isn't me walking down the Champs-Élysées with a croissant. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you enjoyed seeing the experience, and here's a bit more of the journey and the car as well.